want me to change, they want me to change, but I ain't changing, nah. I remain the same.
And you are now tuned in to another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing, Men Make Moves and Suckers Stand Still, and as always on the mighty Nerve DJs Radio Network. You already know, man, it's the same week after week after week. At this point, it's becoming redundant that I only rock with legends only, and today is abso-fucking-lutely no exception. When I say R&B is back, I'm not saying that as hyperbole. I'm not lying to you. I'm not talking shit. I need to introduce you to the greatness that is Brayla. How you doing, Queen?
How you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited,
No, thank you. It is an honor
man.
and a privilege. I don't know what the
Ah,
fuck going on with my mustache though. You know, I'm like, man,
I
I'm
was just
looking.
looking at my hair. I got a little straight hair or something,
Right. I'm
Gotta make
talking.
sure
I'm like,
everything
damn,
looking
is that a
right.
curl or something? I don't know. You know, is that toothpaste?
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Right. You gotta make sure. We thought we was good.
Anyway, how you doing? How's your family?
I'm doing great. My family's doing great. I just got off the phone with my mom, so everybody's doing well. I miss them since I'm not home in Dallas, but I miss them so much. But they always check in. They're always supporting. They're always watching. So they'll probably tune in today. So if I see them, if they pop in, hey y'all, I love y'all so much.
So where you at now? Where you located?
I'm in Philadelphia right now. I've been here for almost 2 years now. I moved here right after college.
Yo, that's crazy. I interviewed Gilly the Kid's son last week.
Really? I
Yeah,
haven't met either one of them, but I've heard of them. So,
very humble cat too, and I believe his
really.
sister sings.
Oh, I love that. I love a singing family. Listen, that's
Yeah.
why I come from a singing family. So I love people who come together in music and do something, at least something in the industry.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: at what
hmm
point did your family buy into your artistry as a career?
That's a great question. I think honestly, when I decided to go to college for music, but at the same time, I would say like because I honestly took music seriously in middle school, like seventh grade, sixth grade, when I lost first place at the talent show and I got third place. I was like, okay, I think I want to do this. Like, I think this is in me. So I started taking it serious. And that's when like my mom was like, oh yeah, I got you. But I think that like they took it seriously as like my actual career when I was like in college, actually
Okay,
learning and getting my degree for it.
okay. Who'd you lose to?
Yeah. Um, some girl who was praise dancing, and we love the Lord. So, anytime somebody's gonna cry and really feel it, I understand that they're gonna get first place. But I was like, I don't know. I really feel like I was giving y'all everything I was supposed to give.
Okay, what is
But
praise
it was my
dancing though?
stage
I need to know
presence.
what's praise dancing.
Literally like liturgical dance. Like I used to praise dance myself. So like, the whole worshiping to like a gospel track. Anything you would see in church when the praise dancers come out or the mimes. It was that before the talent show.
Usually when I see somebody like dancing, they running down the aisle.
Oh, see, now that's a praise break. There's a
That's
difference, you know what I'm saying?
my apologies to the praise dancers.
Yes. Yeah, man. Praise dancing is really nice. It's just another form of worship for real, for real. But it's dancing. It's ministry, but it's dancing.
So what do you call what you do? Is there like I'm getting the neo soul vibe, but you way too young to
Really.
even know what that is.
I'm still learning. I really honestly feel like where I'm at right now, I'm still trying to tap into new sounds for myself. But I like to call myself a singer songwriter.
Hmm.
But I feel like I do so much. I'm a part of a band. I write for other people. I do jingles, you know what I'm saying? I do a lot of things in the music industry, but because I'm so new at it, I'm still learning the things that I can name myself and, put on my resume and things of that sort because I get called a vocal producer a lot. And I'm starting to really embrace that because of the way that I arrange. I really think that it could be classified as vocal producing.
You have mastered the art of the ad libs for singers. You really have.
That's a hard thing, man. I still feel
Exactly.
like I struggle with that. Like recording, I feel like it's really hard to think about what you want to say when you're ad libbing. But again, I think I have church to thank for that as well because I think the hardest place to ad lib is in the church, in my opinion.
They won't boo you, but man, they give you the ugliest looks.
I'm trying to tell you, they will stare you in your eyes and not make a reaction.
And they gonna talk about you for eons to come. Oh, that's that girl
I'm
that got
trying to
up there
tell
3 years
you.
ago and
I'm
was
trying to
horrible.
tell you,
Why
man,
they let her
it's
sing at the
nothing like singing
funeral?
in a church. Funerals, oh my goodness. Even me and my own family have had a couple of laughs at a couple funeral performances because that's what it felt like, a performance.
I I have been there.
Man, it's hilarious. You gotta let people do what they do because it's in their heart. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like sometimes it's better to choose people who really have experience in this area rather than man who just want to sing for his uncle funeral or something like that.
Yeah, because man generally, he can't sing. Respectfully, I don't
Right.
want mans across the planet to be pissed at me.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
I'm just saying, it's always that
mans usually
one.
got hands too. I'm gonna leave them alone.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm like there's a different profession there. It's not singing.
So, what do you prefer? Songwriting, performing, or being in the studio?
Absolutely being in the studio. And I have this conversation all the time because I believe that right now performing pays a lot of the bills. But at the same time, equally for me, like where I'm at in my career, I get a lot of money from working with other artists, writing with them, being a feature, just working at home in my own home studio rather than performing. But it's like an equal split. So for now, I'm indulging in all of it, but my main love is recording in the studio. Like there's just nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
What's your process in the studio?
So I work in Logic. I get this question a lot as well. So I use the Logic DAW and I have my mic, my interface, my computer. And it depends on what I'm going for. If I'm writing a feature, normally people are going to put me on second verse. Um, so I'll listen to the song a couple of times. And then what I love to do is go in and like just record me like humming whatever I'm going to end up singing. Because lyrics is really the hardest part for me. Even though I got my major in songwriting, lyrics is still the hardest part for me to write. Just because you don't ever want to miss too much to make sure that you're connecting with the people that you're singing for. So I always like to go in there and just record a couple of like hums, kind of like mouthing what I'm thinking I'm gonna say, but not saying it, and kind of like going back listening to what I do. Then I crop everything and make it one track that's like a lead track. Then I'll go back and re-record that lead track with the words after I listen to it on loop for a couple of times, trying to figure out what the words are. And then I'll come back and I'll start adding the BGVs, which is usually the easiest part for me because the structure's there after the BGVs. So at that point, I'm just having fun, finding harmonies, seeing what makes sense as a melody. But usually I do this whole process on live. I'm usually always recording my music on like Instagram Live or TikTok Live because it's really easier for me, and I love allowing people to see my process because a lot of times people really do have these questions, and it doesn't really take away from my artistry. I just feel like it brings me closer to the people who support me the most.
I could never do that.
Everybody says this. It's so fun though. Like it's literally so fun.
I'm more like back in my day, I was more a Missy type, artist. Like I
Mm.
didn't really want nobody else there. If you were
Oh
not
yeah.
relevant to the
Mhm.
song, I didn't want you
Mhm.
in the studio. I didn't want nobody looking at me while I was rapping.
Mhm.
It was a cathartic experience for me that I did not want to share with other people.
I understand that. There's a lot of people who like around my friends groups that I like work with and stuff like that who have that same mindset. And I respect whatever. Like I always ask people whose music I'm working on, like if they prefer for me to keep it under wraps or if it's okay for me to work on it on live, whether or not they want me to not say if it's for them, things of that sort. Because it's really important that people get the rollout that they want for their music and that whoever it is feels comfortable with the way I'm recording it and with the way you record. So I respect people that don't want people in their sessions. Like I don't really like for it to be people in the room with me physically most of the time. Like I could do maybe someone I trust to give me a good point of view, like good corrections, things of that sort. Like my engineer in Texas, like I like to just record with me and him, maybe two other people who actually help to the session and not just sitting there, being a
Yeah.
bother or something of that sort. But it's all within the nervousness. Like everybody, we all have our own way of being nervous. Like my nervousness comes on stage. That's the only time I'm really like seriously nervous. But for other people, that's in the studio.
When does that go away?
Like hours after the performance. It
Really?
never, yeah. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just because, I care about it so much. And it's like, I feel like for me, performing is like another spot that I feel like I could really grow on still. There's always room to grow as a musician. I always say I want to remain a student of music. So when I'm on the stage, that's when I feel like my most amateur, even when I feel my most experienced, because it's just like you're giving people like the real thing in real time. And that's always just like nerve wracking because a lot of people aren't able to stomach the way I sing. And I can't be mad at that, but to be able to sit there and like look at people not like what you do, it's nerve wracking. And even when people do enjoy it, it's just like it's a good nervous too. Like the butterflies that I get, like I don't want to lose the nervousness because I love the butterflies that I get when people enjoy what I'm doing as well.
And I'm sorry, I just got to text my wife back.
As you should. Do what you got to
Yeah.
do. I know how that goes.
Oh,
Gotta get those
man.
in. Listen, get it to her ASAP so she know what's going on.
Let me ask you this. Top three
Mhm.
songwriters for you.
Songwriters. So I'm gonna say right now that I didn't really know about who was writing what until I got into college. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
still figuring out like who's actually behind certain songs that I studied growing up.
Okay.
Um, I would say off the top of my mind, how do you say his name? Tion Christian, because he wrote a lot for Brandy, and I absolutely respect everything he did for Brandy, as well
Mm-hmm.
as Big Shiz. Huge respect for everything he did for everyone. And Twinkie Clark. I would say that. Those are the three that's on my heart right now from the music that I'm still listening to.
Oh, man. See, I'm
Yeah.
like you could be one of my kids. I'm sorry. I know you hate to hear that.
I know. It's
Uh,
okay. I'm used to it, really.
but I'm thinking definitely Babyface. Absolutely Diane Warren.
Diane Warren. I think I have to do my research. That one might be a little past me. I
Oh,
may
you
know a song, like if you said a song, possibly, but like I said, I didn't know who was behind these great hits before I went to college.
she might be the GOAT.
Really? I gotta
Yeah.
get into it, man. Let me
You
write
gotta
this down.
yeah, if you don't check nobody
Diane
else
Warren.
out,
Mm-hmm.
a unique looking old white lady.
Really?
Yes,
Diane
but's
Warren.
got a gift.
Hmm.
She
Let me
really
see.
does have a gift. I'm trying to think who would I put third.
Yeah, that third,
Oh,
it's always, you can always switch
I
back and
probably
forth
would say
between.
Prince.
That's fair. I say that's fair.
Yeah, I
I
think
like that.
Prince.
Oh, I know her face. That's it. That's it though. I don't know. I gotta go look up the songs.
I
Oh
didn't know you can
wow.
get a degree in songwriting though.
Oh, I didn't know either until my senior year of high school, and I saw my friend was on Snapchat. I was just on Snapchat, and I saw that she went to a school called Berkeley, and I was like, okay, this looks like it's music related. So then I started looking up some more, and I saw more people like kind of going viral on Instagram. Some of my favorite singers who were going there at the time, and I was like, okay, I think I can kind of get away with the type of music I want to do at Berkeley because, of course, we all know about Juilliard, but I just knew that that wasn't my setting. Like, not for what the way that I like to perform, the way I like to write, and just who I am as a person. I didn't think that would be a good fit. So to see my friend going to Berkeley, I was like, oh, this might be good for me. And that was the only school that I ended up auditioning for. I applied for like maybe four other schools,
Hmm.
but I only auditioned for Berkeley because I really didn't want to go to college. But because this one was all about music, I was like, okay, this actually might be perfect for me. So, when I
Yep.
got there and I realized all the genres, I mean, all the majors that they had, songwriting was just the one that was closest to me, the one that I feel like would be a good fit.
So do you had to sing for your audition?
Yeah, you have to sing, you have to sight read. I think you have to do like a counting type of sight reading as well, and you have to do like two different types of songs. I did like a classical song, and then I did "Summertime." I always sing "Summertime." I used to always sing that for my auditions.
Really?
The Fantasia version, because I was a kid when she won American Idol, and I used to always love her version of that. And so when I grew up, I always
Oh
started
man,
singing it.
American
Man,
Idol used to be the business.
I'm trying to tell you, as a
Oh my
kid, oh my
goodness.
goodness, I
Probably
used
the
to watch
first
them all the
five
time.
seasons, maybe six or seven.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
you go to work and it's the talk of the day. I mean, like
Yep,
it was just man.
yeah. Between that and Sunday Best, I think Sunday Best might have been my favorite singing show that I've ever seen.
Oh,
Honestly,
What
I'm
was the
not gonna
first?
lie. They had some of the best singers on there.
Oh, you talking about the church one? Sunday's best.
Yep, the
Okay,
Kirk
yeah.
Franklin always used to host.
I've watched that a couple of times, but
Uh, some of my good friends are the winners. Like they're really, really some of the most talented singers you've seen on TV. I'm not gonna lie. And of course, it ends up being Sunday best because most of the good singing comes from church. It's what we know. It's in our blood.
okay. When was the first time you
Mm.
got paid? I don't need it. I don't want
Um,
to know how much. I'm not about to get in your bag.
I
Your
don't. I
bag.
couldn't even tell you that from the first time. I think that it may have been. I don't know if I got paid for anything that I did in high school or not. So I can't speak on that. But I did do a couple of things in high school on my own and with my own, like I used to have my own gospel group. So I don't know if we really did anything for money or not. But I know that I think like one of my first gigs that I got paid for was my freshman year of college was in what was it, DC, I think? It was one show for it was like this big LGBTQ show. It was so great, which was like right down my alley. So, when I did that show, it was like everybody in there loved me. I was like, oh man, we gotta do this again. But I think that's the first show I got paid for, if I'm not mistaken, off my memory. Oh man, it was crazy.
Let me
I was
ask
like,
you this,
dang.
and this is completely respectfully, but does that limit your audience or make your audience bigger?
Um, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't limit it because I've run into situations where um people will like try to say whatever homophobic remarks. That's stuff that I've already prepared for when I decided to come out the closet way back in high school. So I've been used to the slick remarks, but me, I'm working on my smart mouth and my comments back because I've always been one to go back and forth with people. I'm still working on that to this day, but it doesn't bother me whether or not it limits me because I know that I'm here on this earth to reach a certain audience and God's not gonna let me go before I do that. So I'm not it's never bothered me. I just love going back and forth with people, so I do that. But it's never I've never noticed to my face that someone's chosen not to, work with me or give me an opportunity just because I'm gay or because I'm black or because I'm a woman. But I know that that is always possible, and I know that
Yeah.
that's happening somewhere. But most of the time for me, it's worked to my advantage because I'm who I am and I'm confident in who I am, and so that'll take you a long way. And I have faith in what I do, and I have passion. So I believe that that'll carry me and get me to the right places.
And you're very very talented. That helps.
Ah, yes, that
Yeah,
too,
I'm just saying. So
that too, that
if you were
too.
trash,
Yeah,
it
that'd
would
be
go
different.
different.
That'd be different.
You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
is it? Do you have the same approach writing for yourself as you would writing for somebody else, or do you just write and then divvy it up after the fact?
Honestly, so I've just started writing for people like what last year, like on a serious level. And I'm still getting used to the way that I like to write for people. It really depends on like how I get approached with it. So if like a producer comes to me and it's like, I want you to write for someone else and I'm not gonna talk to them or get to have a conversation with them about anything they want, I'm gonna write in the way that I think they would want me to write, like based off me hearing their music. I'm gonna try to give them something I feel like they'd be comfortable with from what I hear, but also something new that feels like it's in this age and it'll go well. But if it's someone that I'm speaking to and we're having conversation, I'll usually just ask them like, just write down everything you feel, and I'll try to take those words and make it make sense from your point of view, but like with my words. So it's their words and my words, and I'm just making it work in the way that is their perspective. So that's how it's easier for me to work with people when I'm talking to them and kind of gauging what they want. But I'm still getting used to this world where you write for people and you're pitching like a whole pack of songs to someone. That's definitely been like a really big challenge for me, just like writing for someone and like trying to get that mindset of how they really like all their music to be and not giving them the same songs or making it sound too much like me or making it a full song and they don't have anywhere to edit. So, it's really a thin line that I'm noticing when you're writing for other people, but I'm still learning. So, I like to take different approaches depending on what it is.
Okay. Geez, I don't know if I could do that though, right? For other people,
It's
and
hard.
do you look at rappers that have ghostwriters differently?
You know, I don't know how many of the rappers have ghostwriters.
You'd be
I
surprised.
personally, yeah, I'm sure that there's a good amount. I would love to. That's what I want to know. Like, I really want to know who's writing for who and like how this process is going so that I can, figure out where I can fit in and make my arrangements for other people. But as far as rappers, I respect people who write for themselves more, but I always believe that we need those people who don't write for themselves because that's where we get to write for other people. Like if it wasn't for them, we couldn't write for other people. So, I respect the people who don't have people write for themselves, but I don't judge anybody who's getting written for. Like I don't judge it at all. And especially if it's good.
I think Drake has completely changed the narrative on that one.
You know? You think he has a ghostwriter? Because I've seen those
Oh,
conversations
I
on
know he
Twitter.
does. Like
Oh man.
that's nothing. That's not even a secret. What's his name? Quentin Miller. I think that's his name. Like
Hmm.
he was writing a bunch of shit for dude. They had a falling out or
Really?
something to that. I can't remember the ugly
Really?
part of it, but yeah, he was writing
Hmm.
for dude. I think he does both. He uses writers
Yeah.
and he also writes himself. But he totally just eviscerated the narrative that rappers, for you to be considered great or whatever,
You have
you
to
got to write your
freestyle.
own stuff. Yeah, and then when you kind of
Right.
look back, like even from the Sugar Hill Gang, like they first big song, dude stole his verse from somebody. Like
Oh
yeah,
wow.
they didn't even get paid. He just stole it.
Okay, see, I don't like stuff like that. Like I've experienced some people that I know like taking entire hooks and choruses from someone and not crediting them at all, but making it a whole new song. Like I don't I really think that we need to work as a society on giving people credit no matter where their stance is in the industry or whatever. Like just give them their credit. Like it doesn't really take that much to do so.
Yeah, but that's also giving them part of that check.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. You made the decision to take what you took. Would you rather get sued down the line? Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like the easy way to me is to just give credit, but I feel like it gets more complicated with the ghostwriters. There's a difference between stealing somebody's verse and somebody ghostwriting for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like you shouldn't be just stealing people's stuff. That doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, even if you ghostwrite, you still got to give them credit. They
Exactly.
shouldn't be excluded from their publishing or
Nope.
no shit like that. They should get their bag.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
and I ask people this all the time, but if let's say I'm trying to put somebody up on Brayla,
Hmm.
what would be a song that I could start with from your perspective?
Most definitely the song that I just dropped last week, Do Over. I absolutely believe that this song is a really good example of where I'm heading as an artist, like overall. I really feel like this song is a good mix for people who can't retain a lot of stuff that's going on musically at the same time, but it's also a good space for people who really care more about lyrics, but it's also still home to people who care about like melody and like the acrobats that I do. Like it's a space for everybody in this song. So I think this would be the best place for somebody who hasn't heard my music before to start. So they can get a feel of like what they may be looking for when they start to listen to more stuff that I have from the past. Because man, a lot of my songs get really complex, and I know that that's for a certain crowd. But I'm definitely trying to get into a place where I'm able to cater to more audiences. I have a love for the complex.
I know I was listening to EP2
Yes, my
earlier today.
favorite.
Oh my god,
Yeah, absolutely love that project.
yo, and I had to write it down. But pretty, pretty.
Oh yes, shout out to Atira. Oh my
Oh my
goodness,
god. I mean, I like all of them, but Pretty, Saving Grace, and BMW for me.
favorite three. Oh, I feel you. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, that's such a compliment. Thank you. Those are like some of
yo.
my favorite songs. And No Joy, that's the one that I produced and had all my friends come and re-record everything that I produced. So that's one of my favorite ones that I hold close.
Who's your favorite producer that you've worked with thus far?
Mm. Huh. I mean, are we only counting music that I have out already?
No.
Okay, my favorite producer thus far. Oh, so many. I love so many producers because I love messing with different sounds. Um, that's a hard one. I want to say it's between this guy named Luke and a friend of mine. Which one? Mm, this is really hard. I have so
I
many
don't want you people to get
favorites.
mad at you though.
They won't get mad. They know that that's why I have so many favorites and this is why I work with so many different producers because I absolutely just love collaboration. And it's hard to just stick with one person when there's so many different sounds to explore. But I think that like some of my favorite work that I've done that isn't even out. It's the songs that I've done with Luke. He goes by Saint Luke on Instagram. If you want to look him up, he's really dope. He has a couple of records with her, Dixon, Pink Sweat. It's a couple of people he's worked with. So, I met him when I came to Philly, and I met him through a friend of a friend, and we just worked on like almost 6, 7 songs. We got like almost an album worth of music that hasn't come out yet, but it's some of the best music I've did in my life. And I really love how he approaches music because he has an understanding that like I like for most of my tracks to be bass carried because bass allows me to have space in like my high register, and it just works well with my voice. Like I don't really like too many ambient sounds and stuff like that because it kind of gets in the way of all of the stacking that I do. So I really like how he approaches that.
So how many tracks are you doing vocally on an average?
For a regular song, realistically, there's gonna be a lead track or two, depending on like how I have to stack and overdub, and then there'll be two alto tracks, two tenor tracks, and two soprano tracks. Then there'll be two unison tracks for alto and two unison tracks for soprano. So that leaves me room to harmonize and three-part harmony for backgrounds, and then add any extra harmonies with my lead with the unison notes, and then give me like octaves for any ad lib parts. So it's a good amount of tracks to fit everything I need to fit. But
Damn,
it can get complex.
yeah, that's like
I
what,
could
about
do I could
20
do three.
tracks?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, almost. On one song I have like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 almost tracks. Yeah, I stress my mixing engineer out. I be getting on his nerves, I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, man, you gotta be, that gotta cost too.
Listen, I
That
mean, with
can't
my
be cheap.
engineer, he's like an uncle to me. So thank God that I've been, knowing him as long as I have. I recorded my first song with him, which was Follow Me in like 2018. I wrote that when I was in like middle school and finally decided to make it a song when I was in high school. And so, I've been working with him since that day, but he's been in a band with my brother who also plays keys and is an artist. His name is Datron Cook. And I was on his first album first, and that's kind of when I got to meet Antone, who is my mixing and mastering and producer. So we've been doing this for so long. He's watched me grow up. He's like my uncle for real, for real. So anytime I need something, he makes sure that it's in a good budget for me. So I'm grateful for that. But anytime he's working with somebody else, I'm like, listen, he's very expensive because he's no amateur. He's very professional. Nobody has been able to mix my vocals and make them sound as good as he has. Like EP2, that's all mixed by him. Things You Do, my first project, that's mixed by him. Follow Me's mixed by him. And then this most recent one, Do Over, was mastered by him and mixed by another guy that I just met. So I don't really like to move too much out of my mixing engineer. I like to keep the same person because he knows what I need. He knows my backgrounds are really important to me. And a lot of people will really just try to turn my backgrounds completely down. And I'm like, that's where the magic is at.
Yo, my manager Rita absolutely loves you.
I love her. She's so sweet. I'm so happy that we got to meet and talk. Like, if it wasn't for her, man, listen.
She's a pit bull.
Oh my goodness, she means business. That's what I like. I like that.
Oh boy. So what's next on the horizon for you?
um, so right now my focus is, really trying to work on getting some consistency in my career since I've decided to take on music full time. It's almost been a year since I've taken on music full time, so I'm just really still trying to find my way. I would love to find a residency here in Philly and just, sing once a week or maybe every 2 weeks. I would love to just be somewhere and make it my home and just continue to work on my performance skills because that's what I really want to start perfecting. Other than that, I'm really working on a couple of projects for next year. I'm gonna have a lot of things coming out next year, so I'm really excited about all the stuff I'm working on and all the people that I'm working with. So there's that, and then just trying to get out there more as a songwriter and write for more artists because I need to practice.
How'd you end up in Philly?
So I was in Boston at Berkeley, and then I met my girlfriend, who I've been with for almost 4 years this month. And she moved out to Boston with me, and then after I graduated, we moved to Philly together because this is where she's from. So it just felt easier to move here than rather than move back home to Texas because that was just so far, and it was a lot right after college. Like it didn't make sense. So I was like, I'm down to be in Philly because I wanted to get some networking done here and learn about the music scene because I don't know a lot about music history. So just being here in Philly, the stuff that I've learned about the music industry in itself and just like how much has come out of Philly, I couldn't have been happier to have moved here. Like it was a really good decision. So I'm happy to be here in Philly.
Who do you appreciate the most artistically out of Philly, just historically, not necessarily now, but going back?
Hmm. Um, I think for my experience and like what I'm doing, Jasmine Sullivan has been like my number one from Philly as like an artist, a respective like
You talking about
creative.
the toxic queen?
Hey man, hotels, okay, man.
Stay away from my windows.
I have a respect for Jasmine so bad, man. She's one of my top three artists, like of all time. Like I've been listening to her since I've been listening to music, really. So she's a huge inspiration in like who I am as an artist today. I have a huge respect for her approach to music, her approach to arranging, like her own background vocals and things of that sort, and really just her acrobats and things of that sort. Like I love her ability and agility to move around. Like so,
Yeah.
she's one of my favorites to come out of Philly as a singer, but if we're talking about musicians, I think that like my biggest takeaway from Philly thus far has been my friend Trey. He plays drums. He goes by as Treyway on Instagram. If you guys want to check him out, um, he has taught me so much. I'm in his band now. We have a band called Treyway and the Now Generation. You should check us out. We're gonna drop an album this coming year as well. But oh my goodness, the stuff I've learned from him, irreplaceable. I just there's really not a lot of drummers out here or just people period like Trey. So he's really taught me a lot about the city, about my confidence as an artist, even my swag as an artist. Like he's just put me and all of the people in the band on to so much. He's such a good person. I'm now the worship leader at his church, who his mom is the pastor. So I'm just really learning a lot here in Philly, and like those are like two people from Philly that I would say has inspired me the most.
Is it easier to be a part of a band or a solo artist?
Um, if we define an easy, it's easier to perform in a band because I get to hide behind the fact that it's so many of us. And normally, like I'm usually like a additional vocalist because he'll sing. Most of the songs we do is his songs and then cover songs. So most of the time I'm a supporting vocalist. So it's not as
Okay.
much work, which is what I love. I listen, any chance I get to be lazy, I'm gonna take that. Okay. I only stand up and sing when it's my solo song and he's like, okay, we're gonna give you a song. Go ahead, I'll stand up out my stool. But other than that, I'm sitting in the stool, I got my tambourine, I'm here for supporting lines. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's so much fun because I get to enjoy and listen to all of my peers. Like there's our keys players. His name is Juicebox, amazing keys player. I mean, one of my favorites in this nation. I'm trying to tell you, he's blessed beyond measure. And then our bass player, Izzy, so dope. His connection with Trey while we're playing A1. And then our guitar player, Ian, like, hey man, he got the Holy Ghost. We call him Holy Ghost Ian. But just listening to them play, that's all I really care about. Like I love to sing. It's what I do. And I love to compliment Trey when he's singing. But really, I just love listening to them play because it's such a crazy connection that we've built over this year that we've been a band. And it's just fun to be a part of. Like it's easy because of that. But I mean, it's of course easy when I'm on my stage by myself, but it's not easy in terms of like I can be lazy. Like I have to make sure that the band is connecting with me, make sure that the audience is connecting with me. Then I gotta talk. I don't like talking. So it's just like it's so many things that goes on when it's your own
Really?
show.
Like
Yeah, I
I
really
could
can't
see
stand
you
talking on
doing
stage.
like a just a acapella sitting there on a stool, with a
That's what I'm working on.
keyboard.
I'm absolutely going to be doing a lot of those types of things coming forward. Like I'm trying to get into that music video aspect where I actually like get some content on YouTube and things of that sort, and people get to actually experience me outside of live singing and stuff like that. So I'm gonna work on that this year. That's gonna be some stuff I want to get out because acapella is like my favorite thing in the world.
I think there's a park in Philly. And I only know this because of Tony Hawk the game. I used to be addicted to this shit. Oh God, one of my favorite video games of all time. But I want to say
Fairmount,
it's Freedom Park.
Freedom Park. I don't
I
know about
think
that one. I
so.
know Fairmount is our biggest park.
Well, there's a brother there. Is it Stevie Williams? I might be butchering his
Hmm.
name, but there's a brother there that's like the brother in skating. Like he like the
Oh,
OG, the brother that, and he put Philly really on the map As far as
Really?
yeah, as far as like skateboarding,
Uh huh.
like yeah, the dude is phenomenal. I forgot his name, of course.
I don't
But
even
yeah,
see a
there's a
lot of
particular
skateboard now.
park that they used to skate at in Philly that
Mm-hmm.
is like part of the Tony Hawk parks that you can skate on.
Mm.
Like I
I don't
could
know if I've
see
ever seen
you
that.
there with a keyboard just
Singing.
singing.
That's actually really cool. I'm gonna have to remember that. Give you a nice little 10% or something. I have to consider that. I like that because I've
Yeah,
been thinking about a couple of different spots to sing, so I like that.
yeah, I could. I really like. You've got the pipes to pull off just pulling up and singing.
I know, and I want to do that one time. Like I've always wanted to. Like I still want to one day singing in like a subway and in Times Square. Like those are two big things that I really want to do before I leave this earth. It's on my bucket
Yeah,
list.
yeah, and you have
That'd be
great
so fun.
songs.
Yeah, thank you. I
You,
normally don't even like to perform my music too much. I'm just now getting into it because it's so complex. So it's like when it's time to sing it on stage, it's like if the band don't got my back, I'm gonna have to do way too much work, and I really don't. It's a lot when people don't already know your music. You're going to new stages. People don't know who you are. They don't know your songs. I'm like,
I don't. I
now I
don't
gotta work
think you're giving your
overtime.
words enough credit.
Really? You think so?
Yes, I don't.
Wow.
Like you,
Thank
like because
you.
when you say it's complex, I get because you do so many, tracks or
Hmm.
whatever. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's letters and words,
Facts. You're right. It
and
really just be
you
the
got a
melody that be
gift of
having me
putting
feel like
those
that.
things together.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really should. I am going to start performing my music more. Like I'm making it a necessity to at least do one of my songs whenever I go somewhere. Because we don't really get a lot of time to sing anyways these days. Because who can
Yeah,
really afford it after COVID to pay us for more than like 3, 4 songs? So within
shit,
it, I
this
like to just make
motherfuckers
sure
is
people
quitting
have
their
something they know.
jobs. This motherfuckers quitting their jobs and spending $2,000 on a ticket to go see Beyonce. They got the
You're
bread.
right. I don't know who they are, but child, it must not be these venue people.
Well, you know what? Your performance. I just me personally, never having seen you perform. I just see it. I think
Oh,
that's what's going to set you apart from your contemporaries.
mm. You're right. You're right. And I feel like I like my performance. I still, of course, feel like there's room to grow. I think for me, it's just finding like the right place for me. Like I said, since I'm looking for a residency, like I want. That's why I want to get this residency so bad because I want to figure out where I like how I like engage certain crowds. Because of course, with different restaurants, I sing at a lot of bars, I sing at
Mm,
a lot of birthday events, and I sing at a lot of like galas and stuff like that, and a lot of weddings. So it's like trying to decide how
yeah,
these different audiences take to certain songs. Like I like figuring that out so that I know when I walk in a room without even have heard the crowd, if what they're gonna like for to hear me sing stuff like that.
yeah. I would like to come to Philly when you got that residency because I want
Yes.
you to. I want the crowd to come hear you and not you have to
Yeah.
think about what I'm going to play for the crowd.
Yeah, I feel that. I will. I can't wait for the day where I'm just doing shows and people are coming to embrace whatever I have to give. A lot of times when you're at these venues, there's already a certain setting, like in the restaurant. Some restaurants are already known for jazz, so it's like you're already kind of making them a little uncomfortable because they came expecting jazz and you're doing R&B, but like finding a way that like how I sing, I like to watch what people react to so I know what to build on. Like that's just it's really a fun part of performing, honestly.
And then
It's
they got
challenging though.
is it Malcolm X Day they got every summer in Philly? They have
Mm,
a big event out there. It's outside. I've seen like people go
Roost
live
picnic?
on it. It might be Malcolm X.
I don't know. There's a Roost picnic, there's S'mores Fest.
It's definitely not the Roots
Um
Picnic. But there's a brother there named Ron Green's got a clothing line.
Ron Green.
Yeah, look, he's like you definitely a guy in Philly. Well, when I say a guy in Philly, like dude's been doing this thing for a minute.
Oh wow.
There's a black-owned bookstore there that's pretty famous. Again, I
I
don't
know what
know
you're
the
talking
name of
about.
it, but
I probably don't know the name either. But
I would
I
call
know
I
what
would
you're
look
talking
them up
about
and
though.
call them up. Yeah, Like that,
Yeah, I
start
got to
with
do my research
that's
on certain
that's
restaurants
how I
around
would like if I were telling you, okay, this is well, I am obviously, I guess. But my thing is, okay, you know what? Go where there's no audience.
here. Yeah, people who need to build an audience, yeah, and need to
Yeah.
build their relationship.
So your audience is the audience.
Right. You're right. You're right. I like that idea, and I'm definitely gonna. It's really for me. I would love to do more than one restaurant because, like I said, since it's my full time, I really got the time to do more than one restaurant. So I'm gonna look around. I have to, of course, work and go and see what's going on in these places, and just get my name out there and let them know what's going on. Let them know I'm interested. Because a lot of times it's really just the fact that people don't know that I'm interested, and I've
Okay.
been having to learn that.
Yeah. Um. So when you say you guys are dropping an album, when are you dropping it?
I don't know. Right now, we're working on the single, the first single that's gonna come out. So that should be out at some point next month, if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that because I haven't even recorded my vocals yet. They just finished the music, so I'm not sure. But once the mixing is done, I think we should be all good to go for that first song. So I'm thinking that's gonna be this year. But the album, I'm pretty sure that's gonna drop maybe top or mid of next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and it's pretty easy to pick a producer. You listen to some of the shit they've done before. Oh, I like that. I don't like
Yeah.
that. Whatever. How do you
hmm
go about picking somebody to mix for you or master your songs?
So usually I will not go and ask anybody to mix my music except for my I call him my uncle. I'm just gonna call him my uncle. My uncle Anton. Um if he's not available to mix it, then I have a friend named Samidio I met in college who taught me a lot about like how I record now. He really set up like a preset for me so my vocals sound good and stuff. I always trust him to do a mix if I can't like go to Anton, but I really won't ask anybody else to mix my stuff unless I hear something and I'm like, okay, let me reach out to them, which is very rare. Very, very rare.
Who have you heard where you're like, that mix is phenomenal?
Mike Grizzly did a mix for me and our friend Nathan Grow. We have a song out. What is it called? Called No Words.
Uh-huh.
Really good song. Absolutely love that song. And I wasn't expecting to like the mix as much as I did, but I really liked how he was like very selective with certain ad libs and how he did certain effects. Because you know, a lot of times when I work with Anton, we could like to keep my vocals kind of close to how I recorded it, just so that when I'm offering these songs up for if I may get signed one day, you know, they'll be able to hear me in the music and not so much effects. But I do like how Mike Grizzly messed around with those effects on the song. So he was one person who shocked me with his mixing skills. And then a person who just mixed Do Over, the song that I just dropped. He's a friend of the other guy who's on the record with me, Be Bearded. So I hadn't even heard of him before or like gotten to meet him other than FaceTime. So I wasn't sure what to expect. But I actually really loved what he did with this mix. And then of course when Anton mastered it, it just all brought it together. So, you know, I think that mixing is always just gonna be a gamble because you never know. Because people can mix someone's voice one way and then completely butcher yours, or it could be the other way around. You never know. So I think that's just like a risk that all artists really have to take when we're choosing a mastering or mixing engineer.
So the goal is to get signed by a major, then, correct?
I wouldn't say that's the goal. The goal for me is just to be able to comfortably make music. And I know that I may not ever feel like completely settled with the way that being an artist as a full time career is, but I just would like to feel like I don't have to reach out to anybody to get anything done. I think that's my main goal as an artist. And I would love to one day have my own, like, I don't know if I want a label. I know I definitely want it to be like a sort of school where we get to teach others and kind
Mm-hmm.
of like help create bands and things of that sort. So I really want to venture into opening my own type of business one day. I'm just trying to figure out what that is because I see like myself opening like a bar and having shows there as well. But right now I know that my main focus is just making sure that I can make my music comfortably without having to reach out to other people. That's one of my biggest goals.
Yeah. Wake up
hmm
when you want to, hit the studio when you
hmm
feel like it.
Drop
You know.
music when you feel like it without having to ask the graphic designer and having to ask the engineers and stuff. I want to be able to mix it. I want to be able to record myself. I do my own graphic editing and stuff like that, all my promo. Like I want to just handle it all myself. And if I do want to reach out to somebody, I have that option, but I'm not moving on other people's time, you know?
Is that practical though?
Realistically, it's going to take a long time, but I absolutely believe that it's possible. The engineering part is going to be the most challenging for me because I don't really
Mm.
understand. My ears aren't grasping the difference when I'm mixing a lot. So I think that's going to be what's going to take me the longest to understand. But I already edit my own stuff, like graphic, and I've recently got into graphic design last year, and so now I do all my video promo, I do all my flyers, and I'm still working on cover art. That's the hardest part, so that's going to take me a while too. But I think that it's absolutely possible because I'm so determined not to have to depend on anyone. But I absolutely will always want to collaborate with people because collaboration is just a part of the passion of doing music. So like producers and things of that sort, I always want to work with different producers. And I have to have this argument with people a lot because they're like, like Missy will say, you need to kind of stick with the same kind of promotion, the same kind of sound to get out there. But I don't feel like that has to be the normal for everybody. And I don't. I've always been the person to go against the grain. I'm the person to go against the grain in my family. I was the person to do it at my school. I was the person to do it at my job. Like I'm always that person who's going to be like, I think I'm gonna do it my way. And so I feel like just constantly working with people, getting different sounds, exploring all of the aspects of music. Like I think it's important to hone in on that throughout your whole career without having to say, "Oh, I can only do this once I'm established." Like you're not even gonna want to do it at that point. You may not even have the skill to be so like flexible within your genres at that point. Like I don't want to be stagnant.
I don't know. I think every artist has an equator.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
and when you go across that equator, you may have, varying terrains, varying
Mhm.
views, things may change, but there's one consistency, and there's a consistency with you.
Yes.
It's a, again, it's definitely your penmanship is dope, but the I don't want to say pain,
Mhm.
but the vulnerability is there.
Yes, absolutely. The transparency and the vulnerability is two things I take really like seriously as an artist because a lot of times, people want to cancel you whenever you feel too much or if you say too much. And I just think that as an artist, like sometimes we have to have those moments because that's where the creativity lies and overly feeling and being that open and letting people hear that. Like I feel like that's so important and I really respect that people are able to grasp that from me because I sometimes I'm not sure if people notice, but a lot of times people let me know like I really love your transparency and your vulnerability. I'm like it's crazy because I want to make sure that that's something that's translatable.
I mean, well, anybody, especially nowadays, with the proliferation of auto tune, anybody can make a fucking song to an
You're
extent.
right. You're right.
But the
You're definitely
great
right.
ones make songs that you remember got you through a moment,
Mhm.
or I met so and so to this song, or like, and
Yeah.
that's what art is supposed to be.
Yes. I absolutely agree, and I think that it's really hard because I say it a lot. Like most of the time, people not only are people not genuine, but they also don't have the passion. Like, and it's to me, it's very visible when you're doing music and you don't have a passion for it, and that seems to be what's taking over the industry right now. So it's just like
Oh my
it makes
god.
people like me question if we really want a place in that type of energy because it's like I don't. Well, the one thing I never want to be is watered down, which is why I don't know if I want to sign to a label because I don't need people to write for me. I don't really need to pay for the expensive engineers and the arrangers and producers. Like I work with people close to me. I work with my peers. I work with family, like stuff like that. And I think that it's hard to keep that type of consistency when you sign your creativity away and stuff like that. Like I don't want to be put in that position.
I mean, well, the way I look at it is Prince was an absolute weirdo.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, for any time frame in the history of mankind, you didn't see too many brothers walking around with their ass hanging out.
I'm trying to tell you.
And yet, one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever pick up a
Yep.
guitar or 37 different instruments, however many instruments he played. He's got
Mhm.
songs that will last until this planet explodes.
Exactly. Songs that singers and people coming up after him will always want to
Oh
indulge
my
in and try to
god.
imitate so that they can become the artist that they'll be. Like that's the type of person that I want to be. I want to be the person who's being imitated, which I already am, and inspiring people to step into their own artistry from what they learn from me.
Is there a song that just absolutely changed you?
Yes, most definitely. I can remember the day that my brother came in the computer room at our house and he was like, "Listen to this song," and it was Brandy, and it was this song acapella, "Something Is Missing,"
Mm-hmm.
all vocals, maybe just a little bass and a little guitar. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to sing. This is what how I want to arrange. And from that moment forward, like I just went down like a rabbit hole of Brandy and studied her top to bottom. Same with Jasmine, same with Kim and the Clark sisters. Like just hearing people who kind of had that similarity from that song, I was like, this is where I want my artistry to go. This is the type of artist that I see myself becoming.
Does Brandy get the credit she deserves?
Sometimes. I think that we're getting there as a society. I think we're getting there. The more that we stop praising mediocrity, the more that Brandy will be recognized for the stuff that she has done. Just like how Jasmine is finally getting the recognition she deserves. Like I feel like this is long overdue, but it took her writing about hoes and stuff like that for people to open their eyes. Because I'm like, it's always been there, but get that certain audience, I feel like is where we get confused with if people have the right respect or not. Because like we still have this conversation about Beyonce, and why are we even having this conversation when she's going on the type of tours and selling them out the way she is? Like it's like we know for a fact that these people, Brandy, Beyonce, Jasmine, Kim, like they're staples. But you have that opposite side of the field who like to listen to other people who they think is number one, who try to denounce them just because they don't think that they're their number one. But it's just like, yo, there's room for all of us. And I think that us as artists and people who are just listeners, we all have to understand that there is a space for everybody, whether we like it or not. Like years ago, I probably would have been talking shit about like Taylor Swift's music or something like that. But now I'm like, as an artist, I'm able to listen and
Mm-hmm.
indulge in certain things, even if it's not the way I would approach it, because
Mm-hmm.
I have the respect for the passion. You can hear when someone is gifted, when they have that gift, when this is their purpose. Like you can't take that away from somebody, and it's really kind of hard to get everybody to agree on that. So
Yeah,
I
that's
forever
true.
think that Brandy's starting to get the credit she deserves. But there's always gonna be people out there that's gonna hate on her and just try
Although
to,
I got a
think
theory
they're
on
not worth it.
Brandy.
What's
I
up?
think that The Boy Is Mine was a gift and a curse for her.
Why you say that?
I think commercially, it's huge, phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
song, great
Yeah.
move commercially.
Yeah.
But artistically, Monica was seen as a better singer. It may still be by a lot of people. I I'm not saying it's true or not. I am not I'm not professional enough at gauging
Yeah.
singers to know. But I think that there was always that competition. Whether it was a real competition, it was a competition that we bestowed on them,
Yeah.
and I think that took away from some of Brandy's greatness.
I was so young when that was happening. I was only listening to the music and enjoying the music aspect of it. So I don't really know too much about what it may or may not have done. I just know that when I'm around singers, they know who is her. But then when you're around people who just listen to music because they like to listen to music,
Yeah,
they're conflicted. I'm like, for me, there's no confliction, and it never was before The Boy's Mind, and it wasn't after. Whether I was young or not, like I'm not confused. But again, like every time we bring in people who are just listeners, that conversation gets really tricky because it's getting objective. It's like you can't really say Monica sings better or Brandy sings better when you don't really sing at all, in my opinion. That's just me though,
does it
I don't
irritate
know.
you?
I don't know. Oh, it irritates me so bad. When people say Monica sings better than Brandy, because it's just like, bro, like what grounds? Like, what's the proof here? I'm trying to see like what it is that's making people say that. But like it's not to me that Monica can't sing. Like, I think that she's a great person. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But singing wise, there's no inspiration for me there. Like I'm not feeling something here that's making me like, oh my goodness, like I need to go back and listen to this. And that's not to take away from the hits that she's made. Like she's made
Yeah,
amazing hits along
yeah.
with other people who were helping her make those hits. But Brandy, like the type of person I think could actually give like a master class. I wouldn't see Monica giving a master class. I would see
Mm.
Brandy giving a master class because I feel like this is more so her art and her career. Just like I feel like she's more experienced with her ability and what she can do rather than Monica. I don't know. It's complex because everybody has their opinions, but that's forever gonna be mine.
Okay, and like one more question, I'm gonna let you go. I know you guys should do, but Beyonce. So is Beyonce a great singer, or is she a good singer and a great performer?
Beyonce is a great singer. I just recently did a cover last year of hers, "Plastic Off the Sofa,"
Hmm.
and just singing how she sang that song. I'm just like, how are you doing this? Like, I don't think what people understand with Beyonce, like she's been doing this so long. That woman is like a pro at every aspect of what she's doing.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't get any better than that in that aspect. Like, yes, she doesn't have certain agility that maybe Kim Burrell has. Like, they're not doing the same type of things, but at the same time, in the field that she's working that shit. Like, I mean, I've been listening to Beyonce since she was in Destiny's Child and I was a kid. And I had the little CD player, the little Doris CD player, and I was studying Destiny's Child CDs. I'm back to back. I'm trying to tell you. And then when she went solo, man, I had every CD, bro. And I'm just like, her music, her performance, but also her ideas, like you really can't take away from it. It's great. Like you cannot denounce the work that she's put in, and I will always appreciate that. And I hope that I don't get caught lacking on Twitter. If I was a kid and I was asleep on Beyonce, I'm sorry, y'all. I was wrong. I admit it. But now I'm woke. Especially after trying to do Plastic Off the Sofa, that messed me up. I'm like, how did she sing that? It just doesn't make any sense. Like her breath control, just her control period is just crazy. I absolutely respect her, and I think that she could teach a master class as well. So I think that she has the reins to say she's one of the greats.
I was not a fan of Beyonce for a while. Like
Mm,
I like some of the
that's crazy.
songs, but I didn't think she was like like she wasn't Whitney Houston.
Mm.
Uh,
See, it's hard, because Whitney is one of a kind too. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But that's the
yeah.
thing. She's not Whitney Houston because she's one of her own greats. Like I feel like everybody has their own place on the mountain of Everest. Like everybody has their own place, their own legendariness that they have. Because nobody was Prince, nobody was Michael, nobody was Whitney, nobody is Beyonce, nobody was Jasmine, nobody was Kim, nobody was the Clark sisters, nobody was D'Angelo, nobody was Daryl Coley. Like everybody has their own thing that cannot be replicated, that cannot be duplicated. Even if people take
D'Angelo
from
was
it,
a wild boy too.
man, one of
Your
my
man's
favorites, bro.
your man's was.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. But that's another one of my favorite BGV arrangements. Like just the way that his BGVs are arranged, put a huge inspiration on how I do my stuff as well.
His
So
who?
his BGV arrangements, background vocals.
Oh, well,
Yep.
I'm just an old nigga with a microphone. I don't know the lingo.
Yes, BGV, background vocals. That's my
Like what?
thing. Arrangements. Yeah, all of that. I loved his. Like I think that most of the time when I'm putting people in my top five, it's based on how their background vocals relate to their lead vocals. That's really
Oh, you got a
important to
top
me.
five of singers of all time?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta hear this one before we go. Who's your top five
So
today?
we already talked about it mainly. So today, I would say number one, Forever Brandy, and then Jasmine Sullivan, and Kim Burrell, Ella Fitzgerald.
Mm.
The five always changes. I would say right now in this moment, I'm going to go with her name is Isa. If you don't know her, get to
I
know
don't.
her. That's all I'm saying.
You got no
This song is
brothers on the
called One in the
wall
Morning.
though?
Oh, that's a different conversation. If we're talking men, Stevie Wonder, Angelo, Samote, Daryl Walls, and the fifth is always interchangeable. I don't know if I have a fifth right now. I'm not gonna lie. It varies. Let me
Okay, who'd you
think.
say the third and the fourth was? Daryl
So
Walls?
Stevie Wonder, Daryl Walls, yeah, from the Walls Group, absolutely.
Okay, that must be gospel.
Yes.
Okay, never heard
Yes,
of.
the Walls Group. They're not really much new. They've been in the industry for a good amount of time now.
Okay,
But you should check them out. The Walls Group is really dope. One of my favorite gospel groups. They're all siblings. Really dope, man.
okay. And
Really
who was
dope.
number three?
So Stevie Wonder, Daryl Walls, Samote. Samote is another R&B artist who I really love because he's a great singer, yes, but also I feel like we relate in the way that we write. I think
Hmm.
that would be like my male counterpart in my ideas. Like if I was to be like, if someone was to be like, oh, we're gonna compare like a male and a female in the game right now, I feel like that's who I relate to the most as a male in the game right now.
Okay, we have to check
Yeah.
that out.
Oh
If
yeah, he's amazing.
people want to get in contact with you, they want to buy a song, they want you to perform. How they go about doing that?
Okay, so you can always find me anywhere on Instagram, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. My name, Brayla, Brayla. I think it's over there. Or you can look up my
Right there.
Instagram, Brays.anatomy, Brays dot anatomy, like Grey's Anatomy, but Brays Anatomy. And I'm always on there. That's usually where I'm always at. Don't look for me on Twitter. My account is private. I'm not looking for friends. That's my place to get off my opinions. And then Facebook is like, I have a Facebook. I think it's also Brays Anatomy. But those are only three things. And TikTok. So it's all the same name everywhere though.
Okay. All right. Well, it has been an absolute treat to talk to you.
Yes. It was so good talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I wasn't doing nothing but sitting on my couch today. I'm off work today, so
I know that's right.
I
Well, thank
thoroughly,
you
thoroughly
again.
enjoyed it. But thank you,
Yes. No
and thank you,
problem.
Rita.
Anytime.
Shout out
Yes.
to
Shout
you.
out to Rita. Thank you so much.
On that note, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not sure what I can do, but I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I run into a couple people over the years, so if you need anything, just let me know. I got you.
Absolutely. I hope to keep in contact with you. And thank you one more
Oh,
time. Thank you
absolutely,
so much.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, peace.
All right. Bye.
And this has been Jobs. You already know, man. It's another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio. Man, what a joy! Just a wonderful soul, a beautiful spirit. Make sure y'all go out and y'all check out Bray's Anatomy on Instagram. And man, I know she got new stuff out. Go check out the new music. Go back and check out EP2 also. Oh, fucking phenomenal. I'm absolutely certain you're gonna hear her name in the future. Anyway, that's just been another episode of Intellectually Petty. I said that already. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.